people not constantly, I suppose, giving to others and feeling like they're worn out by it?
Yes, and I think personal boundaries are super important actually. And the reason they're important is because really they set up the basic guidelines for how we would like to be treated and respected by others.
Where
Yeah.
do these boundaries come from then? Where do we sort of learn this type of behaviour, I guess?
Okay, so like most of our behaviours, we learn them from, our caregivers, whoever they may be, or the people we were surrounded with as we grow up. And we're conditioned by the people we're cared for. So if you're a good girl, you'll go and help ABC, or you'll go and help. So it's intrinsic in us. So it's hard sometimes to recognise if our boundaries are healthy or not.
And as with all brilliant life coaches, this is something that you have been through yourself. So you've had experience of give, and just how draining that can be.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, it took me to get quite far along that and realise that instead of blaming everybody else and pointing the finger, it was actually me that needed to look at the boundaries that I was setting for myself. And of course, was absolutely exhausted and fatigued and had to take a swift look and be curious about why I felt the way I did. Yeah.
So I guess just to clarify, because I think we can get from what you're saying, but what would you say boundaries actually are?
So boundaries really, they are, like I say, they're basic guidelines of how to establish safe spaces between each other, whether it be in work or relationships or even with your children.
So it could be like time, or so when you talk about giving, so sort of giving something of yourself and creating a sort of end point for that in a way.
Yeah, I think often we need to look at, say if we're looking at boundaries, we really want to look at whether what we're doing in our lives, whether we choose to help someone, whether that is within our best interest at that time, or is it going to affect us in a way that might affect not only ourselves but our relationships, our family and our children.
I think the thing with this, if you are the sort of person who constantly says yes to everybody, who constantly tries to please everyone, you can end up feeling really resentful, but also like nobody really cares about you.
Absolutely, yeah. So you have that, they're often like little alarms or flags, red flags, I would say. Absolutely, Beth. So yeah, you feel depleted, you feel like you're starting to lack energy. You feel angry and resentful, and you feel like no one cares, like you say, and that no one really cares about what you might like or what you might want.
So then what we need are some top tips about how to establish healthy boundaries.
Yeah, now you'd think it'd be something super intrinsically important or something really hard, and actually they're the three simplest things in the world. And the first one is really if someone's asking something of you, and it could be imagine you're a parent helping at school or for a charity and something where you really feel like you need to give. I just want you to think, if someone's asking something of you, just pause before you answer. Or even say to the person, I hope you don't mind, or if I check my diary and get back to you. Because sometimes when we have that moment or that pause in, we think, actually, if I do that, this week's going to be super hectic. I'm not going to have time for myself. I'm not even going to have time to have dinner. And then we can respond in a way that's healthy. The second thing is just be really clear about what you want and also what you're willing to do. So be clear. Be clear about what you want to get involved in or what you want to do for people. And the third thing is, if you're doing this thing, is it within your best interest to do it? Is it part of you? Is it something that nourishes you? Is it in your best interest? And if it's not, reconsider.